Good morning and welcome to the show. We've got some special guests here in the studio this morning. I've got Gene McDougall and Derek Williams from the Bay County Sheriff's Office, and they're both here representing the Alzheimer's Alliance. Is that the name of it? Alzheimer's Alliance or Bay County Alzheimer's Alliance?
Exactly, Bay County Alzheimer's Alliance. Yes, sir.
Now, Gene, what is your involvement with the Bay County Alzheimer's Alliance?
Well, I'm just a volunteer. We meet once a month.
Oh, not just a volunteer. Really, a lot of these organizations, charitable organizations in particular, that I come in contact with on the show, really rely on their volunteers to keep them going. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, everybody is a volunteer. For some reason, we have passion about Alzheimer's Alliance and getting the word out, helping people to understand, helping people to know that they're not alone if they have somebody in their home that has Alzheimer's, dementia, or sundowners, as we talked about earlier. It can be very challenging because when you're repeating yourself all day long, answering the same questions, and you're seeing their mind go away, it's saddening for a family member.
It is. It's a lot.
And so there's support groups through this that we try to get out there, and then the book as well.
Yeah. And what is this book? I see you've got this book. It says Confidence to Care. Right. And this, I guess, is just some tips for the family on how to deal with a family member who has Alzheimer's.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now Derek, you're with the Bay County Sheriff's Office.
Yes,
you're
sir.
a sheriff's deputy. Yes. What's your involvement with the Alzheimer's Alliance?
Well, my involvement is the Sheriff's Office have teamed up with the Alzheimer's Alliance, and when the Alzheimer's Alliance have patients that come through, they provide us with bracelets that come with GPS tracking system inside of them. And we go out once the patient have been identified who they are. We go to their house. We make sure that the patient have their bracelet. Make sure that the battery is a brand new battery they have. We make sure that the tracking device, all this stuff is still monitoring. So therefore, the sheriff's office can be able to locate. If a patient have been wandering off and became lost. So I'm the one that go out and check on all these equipment and make sure everything is intact that the family member need to help them out throughout their challenging day.
That is a wonderful service that the Bay County Sheriff's Office provides, to ensure that, because it really is a public safety issue. I mean,
absolutely.
Alzheimer's our seniors, our citizens that need special protections sometimes, don't they?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Now, if you know a senior that needs one of these bracelets, I mean, does it cost them anything, or do you guys just?
No. We do a fundraiser once a year, and that's where we collect the money so that we can buy the bracelets. And if anybody is in need of a bracelet, they can just contact us. They can contact Derek with the Sheriff's Department or baycountycaregivers.org they can go to, and we'll set them up.
Now, there's special challenges to having an Alzheimer's patient in the family.
Absolutely.
Now, I know you say you live with your grandma. Your grandma's at home with the family, which is great, because a lot of people can't say that, which is wonderful. I mean, the first line of defense, for an Alzheimer's patient is the family. So I applaud you and your family for keeping grandma around, number one.
She's been wonderful to us her whole life, so we want to be wonderful to her too.
Oh, of course. But there are some challenges to that in the day-to-day needs of a person, and when the memory starts to go, do you have to remind her of things or just prompt her along?
We just prompt her along and just gently, she'll say, ask what she did, and we'll just tell her, and then she'll ask again 5 minutes later, we'll tell her again, and then sometimes I make a little comical for both of us. And
yeah, you gotta have some fun with it, I suppose.
That's right, and she laughs, and she knows that she has a memory problem, and we just kind of hold her hand and love her through it.
Yeah, and she's happy.
She's
to be
very
with you guys,
happy.
I'm sure.
Yeah, she loves to be with us.
In the final equation, that's what's the most important. We have to run off to the local weather, but on the other side of the weather, I want to talk about this book, how people can get it.
Okay.
I also want to talk about these bracelets and what the Sheriff's Office does and how people can get those bracelets if they need them.
Absolutely.
And we'll be right back after your Waking Up with Don weather. Welcome back to the show. I'm here with Gene McDougall and Derek Williams. That's right, I got that right, Deputy Williams.
Yes, sir.
From the Alzheimer's Alliance and the Bay County Sheriff's Office, of course. We were talking about, before the break, about having a family member with Alzheimer's. Now, what are some of the early signs, Jean, that you might have seen with your grandmother?
Just forgetting things, really. It's simple. What did you have for dinner? Oh, I can't remember. You know,
well, I may have it too, because I don't know what I had for dinner last night either. But,
you're right.
yeah, I'm well on my way, that's for sure. But you know, we laugh about it and all. But my mom had a form of that, you know, and she was 89 years old. In the last 2 years or so, she was starting to get forgetful. You know, she had a thing called sundowners, I think they call it, where you know you're sharp in the morning, but as the day wears on, you get a little more forgetful. Right. So by the end of the day, she'll have forgotten what had happened earlier that day, and that happens. But it doesn't mean you kind of chuck them or put them away or any of that stuff. You've got to ensure their safety, and just being around people is what really helps.
Yeah,
now you've got this great book here. It says Confidence to Care, and on the flyleaf here it says that there were 35 million families in America today that are dealing with Alzheimer's.
Absolutely.
So it's a huge problem, especially as we age as a nation. Jean, how do people get this book?
Well, they can contact the Sheriff's Department with Derek, or they can go to baycountycaregivers.org, reach out to us, and we will provide the book for free. And if we run out of books, we will order more.
All right, well, great. So Confidence to Care, just call you guys or the Sheriff's Office, and we'll make sure to get you a copy of that. Now, Derek, if somebody watching this has a family member who's been wandering maybe, how do you get one of these bracelets?
It's the same step as getting the book. They contact the Alzheimer's Alliance. They can also contact the Sheriff's Office and you know, let us know that they have a family member that they feel like is starting to lose their memory. And I personally would go out and take all the supplies that they need, including the bracelet and all the batteries and the GPS, sign the frequency number to them, and also let our dispatch know once we sign a family member who we know that's a new frequency out there, so therefore we can keep it monitored.
So you have your own little frequency that transmits all the time.
Yes, sir. Transmit all the time to us. So it's like it's 24 hours, like being in a facility with a 24-hour caregiver, because the Sheriff's Office, we work 24 hours, so we open 24 hours a day, 3 days, 7 days a week. So it's never go unattended, and it's always being monitored. So any family member feel like they have a family member that's in need, contact the Sheriff's Office, contact the Alzheimer's Alliance. It's a great program that we have out here in the community. A lot of people don't really know about it, and it's something that people also can see that the good side of the Sheriff's Office, and not just when we go to people's houses, it's not about getting the wanted, or the burglars or the murderer, but just to go out and do this, take this kind of act here to make sure that everybody's safe. So they contact us, we'll make sure we'll get the proper stuff.
Well, I got to tell you, we love our Sheriff's Office, and we love our Sheriff and our Sheriff's deputies as well. You guys do a lot of good work for us, and you really are the unsung heroes of public safety, particularly when it comes to Alzheimer's patients like this. So who do they need to call to get a bracelet? What's the number?
The number to call the Sheriff's Office is 747-4700, and just actually speak to the Community Service Division. There's our Captain Harbuck. Captain Harbuck will assign myself, Deputy Williams. We call it Project Lifesaver.
Project Lifesaver.
Project Lifesaver. Yes, sir. So they can contact the Sheriff's Office and actually speak to the Community Service Division, which is Captain Harbuck. Project Lifesaver, what we operate up under, and we'll go out once they give us the correct address, phone number. We'll call. We'll go out, and we'll provide everything that they need from that point on.
Project Lifesaver and Confidence to Care, you guys are lifesavers for our senior citizens here who may be afflicted with Alzheimer's. Thank you for everything that you do, and you guys are welcome back anytime.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back.
Welcome to Time Tack Tuesdays. Check out what I have for you this week.
Have you ever had those nights where you just keep tossing and turning and can't seem to fall asleep? For this hack, all you need is honey. That's right, the natural sugars found in honey raises our insulin levels slightly and allows tryptophan, that compound famous for making us sleepy after eating Thanksgiving dinner, to enter our brains more easily. Taking a spoonful of honey before bed can help you get a restful sleep. Have you ever vacuumed and it smells like burnt dust? Well, that may be because you need to empty your bag on your vacuum. Or maybe it's because you don't know this hack. All you need to do is take perfume, spray it onto a cotton ball, spray it so you completely coat it, and then stick it inside a clean canister or clean vacuum bag. This will help spread the scent of your favorite perfume as you vacuum your house. Thank you so much, Karen Arias, for sharing this hack with us. There are many times when we don't want our door latch to lock. So how do we prevent this? It is easy. With this hack, you just use rubber bands. This is great if you're bringing in large loads of groceries. All you do is connect it to the back end of the doorknob and swing it and connect it to the front. You may need to use a few elastic bands to make sure there's enough pressure on that door latch to prevent from locking you out. It's as simple as that. And now it's easy to bring in those groceries and not need an extra hand to open the door. There's nothing worse than having a dull knife and needing to cut something. Well, here is a quick hack for that. Just take the edge of the knife and do circular motions on the bottom of that coffee mug. This will help sharpen it. Do it to both sides, and then also make sure you do some long strokes. Doing this a couple times to both sides will make that knife good as new and sharp again.
Thank you for watching Time Tack Tuesdays. If you have a hack that you want to see me do on this show, just email them to me at timetacktuesday@gmail.com. Look forward to seeing you next week.
Welcome back to the show. I'm here with Dr. Stephen Favaloro from Forest Park Animal Hospital right here in Panama City. Dr. Favaloro, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for inviting me. You know, I noticed we wore the same shirt the last 3 weeks.
It's Blue Shirt Day every time you're on.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You know, no one would have noticed if you didn't bring that up. You know, I could probably have gotten away with the blue shirt.
Well, I had the same here.
Yeah. Funny how that happens. You know, Sandy, our dog, the famous Sandy, who we all know and love, you know, she's getting older. And I noticed when she was a puppy, you know, she was really frisky, and we'd bring her to the doc to make sure she had all her shots and all that stuff. And then, of course, she was a mature dog, and we'd bring her in annually and for, you know, little things.
Right.
And then now she's getting a little older. So I guess my point is each stage of life for your dog presents different problems for the veterinarian.
And that's actually a very good observation, because if I think about what do I do every day, because people will ask, it must be fun and exciting, and it is. But if I look at, okay, what do you mainly see dogs less than a year of age for? So mainly we'll see them for vaccinations. They'll come in with diarrhea, vomiting because they got intestinal parasites. But it's mainly to prompt their immune system, get them to where they're fixed so they can't overpopulate or have any future problems due to not being fixed. Starting them on their heartworm prevention, behavior modifications, things like that. When they get past that 1 year of age to, depending on the breed, let's just say senior, it's mainly vaccinations. If you're lucky, you come in for your shots. Hopefully your dog's not overweight. You're getting your heartworm prevention and flea control, but that's also the age where we see like the most emergencies and trauma. So that's when we get like the snake bites.
Sure, I had a neighbor just had a dog bitten by a snake.
You showed me that picture, and that's pretty incredible. How still, I hope it's doing okay.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Hit by cars, blown cruciates.
Blown what?
Knee cruciate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, ACLs. Foreign body ingestion, poisons, seizures. I mean, that's when we start to see all those type of emergencies, and
the dogs
usually
get into everything
allergies.
too.
Usually, if you're coming to see me between like 1 and an older age, and it's not for shots, it's usually not for something good.
Right.
But it's not unless it's like allergies or arthritis. It's not an everyday. It's not that whole period. And then when we have the seniors, that's when we start getting into like the body starting to fail. Our bodies are not producing the proteins that they did when we were younger, which is basically the whole aging process. And that's when we start seeing the congestive heart failures, the kidney disease, the liver disease, gallbladder diseases. We start seeing things that need treatment all the time. And so then you start to see those guys on a pretty regular basis.
So the geriatric dogs probably come to see you more often.
Absolutely.
Just like us humans go to see our doctors more often.
If I look at like, if this is your lifeline here, and this is your vet expense line, usually it's like, okay, puppyhood, shots getting fixed, and then kind of blips here for, annuals. And then when you get to be senior, that quality of life, trying to keep them alive with good quantity and quality of life, that's when, you know, a lot of expense is spent on your pet, because it's been your baby for 10, 12 years. And now they're going blind, maybe they have diabetes, hypertension,
bladder stones.
You know. So that's kind of what, like, if I'm looking at, if a dog's coming in, you know, for at a certain age, you know, if it's, you know, you can kind of get an idea of generally what you're going to be seeing it for. Just based off that statistic, which you don't obviously do that, but, you know, if I'm just kind of categorizing.
Yeah, I mean, basically, with a broad stroke, I guess that holds true. And you do have those outliers, I suppose, where dogs come in with cancer. And,
absolutely.
You know.
And I don't know how true this statistic is anymore, and it could be more or less, but there was a statistic years ago that, you know, animals got cancer 5 times more commonly than people.
Really?
I see cancer all the time.
Do you really?
Absolutely.
Wow.
We would do chemotherapy for a lot of them, you know, lymphosarcoma, osteosarcoma, things like that, you know, mast cell tumors.
And that can be quite expensive for the owner, I would imagine.
It's very expensive, and it's very rarely curative. You know, in fact, it's generally not curative. But they do surprisingly well with it, you know. But you're just kind of extending a period of time, and it's just a matter of whether, you know, the owner is in a situation where if they're motivated enough and, you know, financially able to do so, that they can buy a good quality of time. But
so
it's not for
if your dog has cancer, chances are your dog will die from cancer. You know what your dog will die from.
Well, unless he gets hit by a car before that.
Yeah, look at the bright side.
Yeah.
And on that twisted note, thank you so much for coming on the show and getting us smart on the dog life cycle and what it all takes to be a responsible owner. You really have to see your vet annually.
Absolutely.
At least.
Thank you very much.
All right. Remember, spay and neuter your pets, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the show. I'm here with Joseph Milliron from Bay County Animal Services, and he does not have a dog with him today. We're just going to talk about what you do out there at Bay County Animal Services. And first off, why this type of work?
Because I love animals.
Yeah, I guess you would have to.
Yeah, people don't really understand that about animal control officers. Everybody there has their own pets. We all go into that line of work because we love animals.
So you're like the dog catcher, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anybody ever call you a dog catcher?
One time, yeah. Didn't really know what to make of that.
Well, actually, it's a very much needed function, and just anecdotally, and I think I might have mentioned to you before we started the interview, was that, you know, I was a New York City firefighter many years ago, and we had a mayor who was in over his head, and there were budget cuts. And animal services was one of the first things cut out of the budget. And I got to tell you, it was terrible for the strays of New York City during that brief period of time when animal services wasn't funded. We had stray animals walking the streets. I was a fireman. We had dogs that would come to the firehouse because the guys would feed them or whatever. But, you know, you had this drama, this suffering of these animals that were sick, infirm, hungry, whatever, just roaming the streets, and no one there to tend to them. They might have been lost, they might have been abandoned, they might have been strays, who the heck knows? But civilized people just don't do that to their animals, do they?
No, and here in Bay County, we're fortunate to have a good county commissioner board. And they do help us out. I mean, they allocate funds. Unfortunately, like any program, we are limited with our resources.
Yeah, you're limited by what you can do, by what you get, but at the very least, you guys provide a safety net for that, because it not only is it the humane thing to do, it's also a public health concern, at least in my estimation. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you know, if you've got a stray dog population, if you got a stray cat population, there are second and third order effects to that really affect the quality of life and the healthiness of humans.
Definitely. Well, with dogs, it's not only a problem for their own health, but yeah, it can be a danger to the public with them roaming around. In Bay County, we have a big problem with feral cats. We get calls all the time about feral cat populations, and they poop on people's cars and tear their stuff up, and yeah, it is a nuisance. And
the cats must be suffering too, because Lord only knows what they're eating out there, and you know how they're surviving. They probably live very brief and troubled lives, I would imagine. You know? Yeah, we've had some animals come in that were pretty rough shape. Yeah. But we have for the feral cats and the stray cats, we have people come into the shelter and rent a trap. There's a $35 deposit that the people receive back after they return the trap to us.
but then we can get the cats out of the wild.
Okay,
that
so
way.
the public can help you with that feral cat program.
Yeah.
Problem rather, by giving you a call and signing out a trap, putting down a deposit, and gathering that cat up, which is the most humane thing to do. I mean,
is.
Nothing is more pathetic than seeing an animal that should be a domestic animal, that should be someone's pet, out there roaming the streets. Yeah. But thank you very much for coming on the show and putting up with me and letting me spout off about how we need to take care of our pets, because as humans, we really do. It's incumbent upon us to take care of our pets and to make sure those strays are well cared for and are spayed and neutered and
that's the big thing. Yep.
Yeah, got to keep
cut down on the stray population.
Yeah, and thank you to Bay County and the Bay County Commission for keeping you guys funded adequately to keep things going the way they should go.
Well, thanks for having us.
Joseph Milliron, thank you for the work that you do, and always remember, spay and neuter your pets, and we'll see you next time.